Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Hope you are having a great day. So today we are going to learn new story, The Star That Waited for Dawn. So it's in two parts. We'll read both the parts along with the moral of the story. So let's start. So first one is part one of The Star That Waited for Dawn. High above the world, where the night sky stretched and endlessly, millions of stars sparkled with brilliant light. Each star had a special purpose. Some guided sailors across the sea, others lit the paths of travelers, and a few shone brightly to remind lonely hearts that they were never truly alone. Among them was the smallest star of all. Her name was Luna. Unlike the great stars that glowed with dazzling brilliance, Luna's light was gentle and soft. Every night she looked around at the brighter stars and sighed. I wish I could shine like them, she whispered. The oldest star in the sky, Orion, heard her words. Every star has its own time to shine, he said kindly. But Luna wasn't convinced. Who could ever notice a tiny light like mine? One chilly autumn evening, dark storm clouds covered the sky. One by one, the brightest stars disappeared behind the thick clouds. Their powerful light could no longer reach the earth below. Luna, however, was so small that she found a tiny opening between the clouds. A gentle light slipped through the narrow gap and reached the world beneath. Far below, in a dense forest, a young shepherd boy named Noah had become lost while searching for one of his sheep. The storm had hidden the moon, and every path looked the same. I am never going to find my way home, he said, trying not to cry. Just then he noticed a tiny star shining through the clouds. It wasn't the brightest light in the sky, but it was the only one he could see. Noah decided to follow its gentle glow. Step by step, he carefully walked through the forest. The little star remained above him, quietly lighting the way. Hours later, the trees began to thin, and Noah finally saw the warm lights of his village in the distance. He smiled with relief. Thank you, little star, he whispered. High above, Luna felt happier than she ever had before. For the first time, she realized that even the smallest light could guide someone through the darkest night. Yet she had no idea that her greatest test was still to come. So, this was a part one of The Star That Waited for Dawn. Now we are going to read part two. So, let's start. The next evening, Luna couldn't stop thinking about the young shepherd she had guided home. Perhaps she thought Orion had been right. Maybe a star didn't need to be the brightest to make a difference. Days passed peacefully until one winter night a fierce storm swept across the valley. Thick black clouds covered the sky and icy winds howled through the mountains. Rain poured down and the rivers quickly overflowed. In the village below, people rushed indoors. Doors were locked, windows were closed, and lanterns flickered in the strong wind. Then, just after midnight, something unexpected happened. A bolt of lightning struck the old bridge that connected the village to the neighboring town. The bridge collapsed into the rushing river. On the other side of the river, several families were trapped. Among them was a doctor carrying medicine for a sick little girl in the village. Without the medicine, she might not survive until morning. The storm hid every bright star behind thick clouds. Even the moon had disappeared. Only Luna's tiny light found a narrow opening in the sky. She shone as brightly as she could. Wasn't much compared to the great stars, but it was enough. The villagers looked up. There is a star, someone shouted. The doctor noticed the faint light reflecting on a narrow path of stepping stones farther upstream. Stones no one had seen in the darkness. Holding a lantern, he carefully led everyone across the shallow crossing. The villagers on both sides joined together, helping children, carrying the elderly, and guiding one another safely through the storm. Before sunrise, the doctor reached the little girl's home and gave her the medicine she desperately needed. Her fever slowly faded. By morning, she was resting peacefully. As the first rays of sunlight appeared, the storm finally passed. The clouds drifted away, revealing the entire night sky once more. The brilliant stars sparkled proudly, but this time every one of them turned toward Luna. Orion smiled warmly. You see now, he said, the greatest light isn't the one that shines the brightest. It is the one that shines when someone needs it most. Luna glowed with quiet happiness. She no longer wished to be bigger or brighter. She had discovered something far more precious. Her light had a purpose. From that night on, whenever storms covered the sky, travelers would search for a single gentle star peeking through the clouds. They called it the star that waited for dawn because it never gave up shining, even during the darkest nights. Years passed and parents told the story to their children before bedtime. Whenever a child felt small, unimportant, or afraid, they would point toward the night sky and say, Do you still do you see that little star? It reminds us that you don't have to be the strongest, richest, or most famous person to change someone's life. Sometimes the smallest light brings the greatest hope. And every evening, Luna continued shining with the quiet joy, knowing that somewhere below someone might be looking up, finding comfort in her gentle glow. She had stopped wishing to be like the other stars. Instead, she became the very best version of herself. The night sky was more beautiful because of it. So, part two has also been completed now. So, now the moral of the story. Never underestimate your value. You don't have to be the biggest or the brightest to make a meaningful difference. Even the smallest act of kindness or hope can light someone's path through life's darkest moments. I hope you like the story and I hope you learn something from the moral of the story and the story itself. So, thank you for today. We'll meet again tomorrow.